Hola everybody, ¿cómo estás? I am so happy to be here.
Está muy feliz de estar acá.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Y muchas gracias por invitarla a ella a estar aquí.
I wrote Harriet's House for Teachers, and I am thrilled to be here in Colombia with so many teachers. I'm going to start to tell you the agenda for today so you know what to expect. I'm going to introduce my team of teacher actors and my director and my assistant director and our videographer so you'll know who everybody is. And if you can come back tonight to see them, you will know who they are. It is that you said in answer to my questions, I will choose one scene from La Casa de Harriet, and our actors are going to act. We will do the same with the second question I ask you. I will ask 2 questions, and we'll do the same process, and then we'll take a break. When we come back from the break, I'm going to ask for a few volunteers to read a new scene from La Casa de Harriet. And then you will say what your experience was like reading the scene. It will then be 12 o'clock and time for lunch. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself first, and then I'm going to ask each of the teacher actors to tell you about themselves. And I'll ask them to tell you a little bit about their role. Okay, me. Yo. I work at the University of Toronto. I work with 2 groups of students. 3.
Okay.
Three. I work with new teachers, people who want to become teachers. I work with a group of undergraduate students in a program called Equity Studies. And I work with graduate students doing their masters and their doctorates. La Casa de Harriet was written for the new teachers. In Toronto, there are many mixed-race families and many same-sex families. I wanted to introduce my teachers who are naive about many, many families who are different than themselves. It's interesting, the students in my Equity Studies program, they take a course called Equity, Activism, and Education, La Casa de Harriet. There were 3 stages. Stage 1, I did research about the lives of adopted same-sex families. I read personal narratives from all around the world. They've grown up now and can tell their own stories with passion. I also looked at documentary films about these families, and I did my own interviews.
Me contacté con el proyecto a partir de que conocí a Jorge Arcila a través de otro proyecto de investigación.
Convencidísima pues de la importancia del arte en la formación integral de los niños.
El personaje que interpreto es el de Claire, la hija menor de Harriet.
Ahora estoy con una red de padres que educan en casa que se llama la red Homeschooling.
He trabajado con población vulnerable muchos años en el sitio que yo amo más en Bogotá, que son las Lomas.
Y trabajo con primera infancia en un colegio privado con población vulnerable. Es una fundación.
Yo estoy haciendo la asistencia de dirección.
It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something that you think of right away. Okay, and we're only going to take 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Number 1, write down something you know about adopted children or adopted families. Write down something you know about same-sex families. Write down something you know about same-sex families. 3 minutes, doesn't have to be perfect. Okay, go.
arreglarlo. Apenas tienes 17 años, no puedes ir sin mi consentimiento.
Voy a regresar a Colombia y tú no puedes impedírmelo.
Sí, sí puedo.
Ya déjala ahí.
No, no lo voy a hacer.
Te prometí que terminaría la escuela aquí y lo hice. Adelanté créditos para salir antes. Ahora voy a partir.
¿Y qué va a pasar con la beca que ganaste? Asumo.
La beca no me importa.
¿Estás loca? Serás más útil en Colombia si primero vas a la universidad. Allí necesitarán doctores.
Ya déjala ahí. Puede que incluso no le guste estar allá. Entonces regresará e irá a la universidad, ¿no crees?
Teníamos algo por acá, 2, ¿y cuál era la tercera? Acá, listo.
Bien, retomando, estábamos hablando sobre aquellas familias que se conforman con personas del mismo sexo.
We had a very particular journey in Canada. First, we had the development of the Charter of Human Rights. Then there was lesbian and gay activism to include LGBTQ rights in the Charter. Then there was another wave of activism to fight for same-sex marriage. It began with the decriminalization of homosexuality. That happened in the 1970s. That's not very long ago. We had a visionary prime minister, Pierre Elliott Trudeau, who said, the state has no business in the bedrooms of the nation. That was our moment to begin.
Can you say it again?
The state has no business in the bedrooms of the nation. He was a Jesuit, and he had Jesuit education, but it was the 70s. It was a very progressive time in Canada. So the 1970s to 2014, that's many decades of activism around human rights. So I can write Harriet's House, and I can teach a course on anti-homophobia education because of decades of activism and human rights work. So you're absolutely right. Every nation has to do their human rights work. Toronto is in the province of Ontario. Our premier is the first lesbian premier in the history of Canada.
Recientemente elegida, ¿no? Recently elected, right?
Yes, Kathleen Wynne. Before she was premier, she was the Minister of Education, and she passed a very strong anti-bullying law. She said research showed that schools that had gay-straight alliances, student groups with teachers in the school, those schools were safer for LGBTQ students than other schools. So her anti-bullying law said that every single school board must have a GSA if the students want it. In Ontario, we have 2 school boards, one secular school board, one Catholic school board. Both are publicly funded from taxes. The Catholic school boards were not happy when the law passed. They said the law was in tension with Catholicity. Conflicted. Kathleen Wynne said, if you want public money, you must follow the law. But it is not easy work. The last time I taught my anti-homophobia class, I had 80 students. And 30 of those students were Catholic school teachers. And when we talked about curriculum, we talked about safe schools, positive schools.
Private?
Yeah, positive, that had a positive attitude towards LGBT students.
Yeah.
And queer, that affirmed.
Yeah?
That
no?
affirmed the family.
Sí, can you explain a little bit about queer?
Queer is an affirmation of LGBTQ life. In the secular schools, 2 things are possible. Secular.
Yeah,
secular.
Yeah.
Safe schools and positive schools.
Yeah.
Respect.
Que respetan.
In the curriculum.
En el currículum.
In the alternative schools, it is possible to work towards queer spaces because we have a program only for LGBTQ students. Those students are students who were bullied in the regular school and they wanted to drop out. So now there's an alternative school program they can go to. And that was funded and established by the activism by the LGBTQ. The Catholic School Board, only one possibility exists, safe schools. You cannot bully anybody. But now we have the new law, and the students can have a GSA.
Again, GSA.
A tiny, tiny space is being opened up. And for the first time, the Catholic Teachers Union marched at this year's Pride Parade. We are Catholic and we are gay. But that's a very long journey, many, many decades of work. So you have to begin where you begin. Thank you.
Yeah.
Next question.
Muy buenos días. Mi nombre es Félix Perea.
Thank you for bringing the issue of racism into the room. I congratulate you on your activist educational work. What you are talking about in the case of the student you mentioned is very important. The student had strong academic performance, and after the harassment, his performance dropped. Was this student black and questioning his sexuality?
He was an indigenous guy.
So one of the ideas that we use to talk about that situation is an idea called intersectionality. Intersectionality. So we need to understand that the student has work to do around his indigenous life, identity, and politics. And perhaps sexuality. It's an intersection between indigeneity and sexuality. So the GSAs, the Gay Straight Alliances I was talking about, when the teachers plan activities for the student, the multiple identities need to be taken into consideration. The other thing I want to say, it's important for the anti-racist movement and the anti-homophobia movement to work together, to work in solidarity. And one way teachers do this in the schools in Ontario is they create social justice education. So they have the Gay Straight Alliance, they have the anti-racist group, and the two groups work together in the social justice education group. They each take on activities for each other. Gracias.
A buscarle una solución intermedia a la dificultad que hay.
Entonces Harriet no solamente tiene que tomar esa postura de mamá, sino es de pronto la posibilidad de perder en el camino a su hija.
Another excellent analysis. When I think about what you said, I think of the power of the concept of border crossing.
Mi nombre es Melquisedec Burgos. Soy docente de educación artística. Son dos situaciones muy distintas en tiempos muy distintos. Muy agradecido por darle esa oportunidad a los niños del mundo.
When I hear the words of our colleague, I think of something I always tell my teachers, my students. The place to begin is with yourself. And you have great power in your classroom, and you have that power to form relationships that support your students. The more we understand about our own prejudices, and we all have them, we're all born on this planet, the more work we do, the better relationships we're going to have with our students. And that's why I wrote La Casa de Harriet, and that's why I'm so happy to be here.
Y por eso es que estoy tan contenta de estar acá.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias.
So,
okay, move on.
Yeah, move on. We have time for two of you to try one scene. Do we have any volunteers?
¿Tenemos voluntarios?
One here.
One here.
Yay.
Uno acá.
All
Yeah,
right.
okay.
All right. Come on up.
¿Podemos prestar textos? Which one?
We're going to do scene 3.
La escena 3.
They need to borrow the scripts.
Ya.
Okay.
La escena 3. Ok. Escena 3.
Would you be Harriet?
¿Quieres ser Harriet? Ok, entonces tú lees...
Where's our second volunteer? Would you be Anita?
No, Anna. Anna is there. Scene 3, Anna,
No,
Marty.
the one where Anita and...
So that's scene 4.
Scene 4, sorry.
Okay.
Scene 4. You be Anita.
La 4.
Lo siento, lo siento.
Bueno.
Jorge, that's it, just the two. Can you talk about the scene?
Sí. ¿Ya? Or better after?
Just a little bit.
¿Sí?
Just to say what's happening.
Ok, bueno. Ok, ya. Okay.
Lo sé, es a último minuto, pero Belinda.
Canceló a último minuto, no hay problema, me gusta hacerlo.
Tú eres una muñeca, siempre vienes en mi ayuda, te quiero mucho. Tú sabes lo que los nuevos miembros quieren saber, ellos quieren saber que...
Cuando notamos a Luisa y a Ana ocurrió lo mismo.
¿Y por cuánto tiempo? Me voy a casa a cambiarme esta blusa, porque se arruinó. Llámame si cambias de opinión, enviaré a alguien para que recoja los sándwiches.
Fin de la escena 4. Que se queden un momentico. Que se queden un momentico.
Bravo. Can you stay for a minute? Jorge, can you ask them to talk a little bit about what that felt like?
Ya.
Bueno, todavía estoy nerviosa. Para nunca haber leído la obra y no saber qué íbamos a leer y cómo se tenía que reaccionar frente a las cosas, en la medida que uno va leyendo, se va uno como metiendo en la historia y siente uno como esa presión que debe sentir en este caso mi personaje que era Harriet.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Micaela del Pilar Sánchez. El papel que me correspondió, pues es un papel que se identifica con mi forma de pensar y de ser, para poder comprender la diversidad en el aula. Eso es un aprendizaje para mí hoy.
This is the power of research-informed theater. Oh, thank you so much. Muchas gracias. The discussion back.
Sí.
Everybody has a Spanish version. I'm going to work with the English version. Jorge will help me. Okay, could we go to next slide? Here's our table of content. We have some introductory stuff, purpose of the guide, scene synopsis, reader's notes. Borders and border crossing, family, identity, heteronormativity. So we're going to work with one theme so you can see what's in the guide. So we have an introduction, that's